Tower, this is Ghost Rider requesting a flyby. Time to buzz the tower.
Goddamn son of a bitch!
Welcome to France and the region of La Castellet, where we find ourselves at the Paul Ricard HTT circuit. We have a packed show for you this week with a track guide and some URL French Grand Prix history, followed by a lap of the historic circuit with our lovely Jenny. Then Jenny will bring us her free practice midweek update, and finally I'll bring you our team profile for this week. The team we will be focusing on is John Player Special. So on with the show. First up is our track guide. Paul Ricard lies near the town of La Castellet, which is about 40 kilometers from Marseille. The whole area is rich in history and features some magnificent architecture. The track is 5.8 kilometers long and features 12 corners, which are mostly long radius second and third gear corners. The track's most defining feature is the long Mistral straight. The track is also famous for its runoff areas, which are painted tar runoffs. They are painted in blue lines next to the track and red lines further away from the track. Each colored zone has an extra abrasive surface. There has only been one previous French Grand Prix, and that was held at the Dijon circuit back in Season 1. The pre-race was unfortunately marred by both URL2 Pulsat and Knox and his countryman Craig having to pull out seconds before the race with some connection issues. Fernando would suffer the same fate as his race was ended at turn 1. That left a reduced field, and Edge ended up winning his second race in a row with a risky tyre strategy. In URL2, Sparky took his first win but was closely challenged by Mansell, and Rick Martin fell behind after contact with Ferrari man early on. Now it's time for Jenny to take us around for a lap of the circuit.
Hi everyone. Welcome to France and the Paul Ricard circuit. I just started my hot lap and is now approaching the flat out turns 1 and 2. It can be quite bumpy through here, so it always feels a bit loose. Next up is a little straight, before it's down to third, for this tricky right-left-right combination. Remember to hold a tight line through the left-hander, to make sure you get good drive for the uphill double right-hander, and then from here, it's flat out down the long straight. Next is this fourth gear sweeping right-hander that leads us into the long radius turn 9. It's a rather difficult corner to get right, and mistakes here are easy, especially on worn tires. As we come out, there is this little rise we go over, before it's on the brakes and down to second, holding it tight to the curves. Then on the gas early for this little uphill part. Only 2 corners to go, and getting both right is vital to a good lap. The first of them is this slightly off-camber left-hander, followed directly by a sharp right that leads you on to the finish. That's my lap, and thanks for joining me. See you all soon.
Thanks for the quick spin, Jenny. That definitely gives us a good idea of what the drivers will have to expect in this race. Up next is Jenny again in a report of the free practice sessions that's happening this week.
We started our first free practice session of the week with a bang, or should I say with some thunder. as an early session rain shower left the track down for the entire session. That caused some pretty exciting action, with everyone trying to get to grips with the varying levels of grip on the circuit. After a session-long battle with Fernando, Nox came out on top. Vlad put in an excellent performance to beat out Sparky in URL2. URL2 showed its romantic side here in France in FP2, as Mac and Quake shared setup tips with the rest of the URL2 field. With the outcome, everybody found huge amounts of time. Sparky topped the sheets in class. In URL1, Mac Firesto showed his home track advantage to go quickest. With 2 more sessions and Friday's full day of action still ahead, you're in for a treat.
Interesting stuff indeed. For those with an eye on the championship, let's have a quick look at the standings. It looks like Fernando has already made a good step forward on his way to his 3rd straight championship, but I have a feeling not all will go his way here in France. McPhister will be driving in his home race, and the Frenchman will be doing his utmost to upset the apple cart. In URL2, it's tight, very tight, but Quake's domination in the last 2 races could open up the championship for him, especially if he wins here again. Then again, with the most likely return of rivals Mansell and Sparky, he could have his work cut out for him. Now we reach our last feature, the team's profile. Like I mentioned earlier, we are looking at JPS. This season has so far shown that there is 2 main competitors for URL Constructors title. We have already looked at Red Bull, and therefore this week we are having a look at JPS Racing. JPS has been raced before in Season 1. The JPS team came 3rd with the URL2 category, with Nocunox and F1 Freak driving for the tobacco branded team. Season 2 saw Nocunox leaving for Abt, while F1 Freak was unable to run. After a championship winning season away with Abt, Nocunox returned now in Season 3 to lead the team with Quake in the URL2 car. Nox has been a URL racer since the start of the URL in Season 1. Nocunox came 3rd in the championship that year, including 1 win and 5 podiums. Season 2 was much better for Nocunox, and he won the URL2 title at the season-ending race at Bathurst. 5 wins were enough to secure the South African the title. For Season 3, Nocunox moved to URL1. It has been a steep learning curve after he got pole at Daytona. Nox has so far finished all 4 races and picked up 2 third places in Season 3 so far. Quake is a newcomer to URL2, who has burst onto the scene and currently holds a 100% hat-trick record for his first 2 races. His hat-trick in Australia and Malaysia means he is now joint 2nd in the championship with Hurricane, and only 3 points behind URL2 leader Turbo. Well, that concludes our preview of the French Grand Prix. Please join us Friday for the race. Thanks guys, cheers.